The Ontario Liberals are calling this last budget before the June election a plan for care and opportunity. And if the idea was to contrast in dramatic fashion the difference between the Conservatives and them, they did so in spades. There are billions of dollars in new spending, which of course the government hopes will find favor with the electorate. But that spending is also plunging the province back into deficit, which the Liberals once promised they wouldn't do. Here are the highlights of Budget 2018. Sheldon, let's go through these graphics, shall we? As we suggest, we're back in the red now. Next year, this year, fiscal year 2017-18, the province actually ran a modest surplus, $600 million for this fiscal year. But next year, a $6.7 billion deficit. That is less than 1% of the provincial GDP, but there is no plan to get back to balance until the year 2025. There's also one big tax change, and that is to remove the surtax on high-income earners, creating two new tax brackets. That's a $200 annual increase on people making $90,000 a year or more. 83% of Ontarians will see no change in their tax burden as a result. Now, they're going deeply into deficit to spend a lot of money, and here's where it's going. More than $800 million new dollars for hospitals. They've got a free preschool for children program, age 2.5 to the beginning of kindergarten, that to start in the year 2020. Average savings to parents of $17,000 per kid per year. There's $534 million over 6 years to build 10,000 more preschool childcare spaces in schools and 4,000 in other public places. There's $1 billion over 3 years for a new Seniors Healthy Home program. That's up to $750 per eligible household, led by someone 75 or older, to offset home maintenance costs, that kind of thing. Not done there yet. $650 million over 3 years for home care to increase nursing and therapy visits. And $575 million per year to expand that OHIP Plus pharmacare program to kick in next August to include seniors, and that means eliminating the annual deductibles and co-pays could save the average senior $240 a year. There's $17 billion over 4 years to improve mental health and addiction services. The Liberals are calling this the biggest investment in the province's history. There's $800 million over 2 years for a new Ontario Drug and Dental program that would reimburse up to 80% of eligible prescription drug and dental expenses for those not currently covered by workplace plans. Do you live in rural or northern Ontario and your broadband stinks? Well, here's a plan for this. $500 million over 3 years to expand broadband in rural and northern communities. There's $250 million in new funding over 3 years to improve special education services. By the numbers, let's take a look at some of the big spending here. We're talking about $146 billion in program spending in the budget. The top 3 items in the budget, as they always are: health care. That's more than $61 billion, about 39% of the provincial budget. There's $28 billion plus for education. And the third biggest item in the budget, interest on the debt. $12.5 billion for debt interest. Some good news, the unemployment rate is actually the lowest it's been in 17 years, only 5.5%. But looking forward, some concerning news. The economy is only expected to grow on average 1.9% per year for the next 3 years. Do we like our sin in Ontario? We sure do. Ontario Lottery and Gaming is going to take in $2.2 billion they expect next year. The LCBO, we're going to spend $2.2 billion on booze. Nothing yet in terms of revenues for cannabis. They expect that they're going to spend $40 million to get it up and rolling, but then next year, revenues of $35 million and $100 million a year on cannabis sales by 2020 and 21. Here's the biggest number in the entire budget, the provincial debt, $337.4 billion. Those are the debts we have incurred from Confederation until the end of March. What does that mean? $22,511 for every man, woman, and child in the province of Ontario. Let's find out why the government has made the choices it has made. Joining us now from the Frost Block at Queen's Park, there's Finance Minister Charles Sousa, the MPP for Mississauga South. Minister, good to have you back on our program. How you doing tonight?
Great. Thank you, Stephen. Great to be here.
The most important decision, I gather, that the government made was to decide to go back into deficit as opposed to keep your word to balance the books, not only this previous fiscal year, but the one that we're entering into. Why did you change your mind on that?
Well, we have slayed the deficit, we have balanced the books, and today we have a surplus of $600 million, and we have a choice to make going forward. The economy is not growing as we thought it would. It's a 2% growth year over year and still beating Canada and the G7, but it's not strong enough, and we have a lot of uncertainty going forward with NAFTA negotiations and U.S. protectionism, some anxiety there. So we wanted to also taper down our expectations for growth in the out years. So we're being more cautious than independent economists are being. At the same time, the people of Ontario are asking us for more supports for health care, for mental health and addictions, for child care, as well as pharmacare and supports for students. So we're doing that. And on the other side of the budget, we're investing more in providing opportunities for more business support, to provide for more skills and training, and to enable them to take advantage of R&D tax credits and a lower tax system so that they too can continue to grow, support our economy, and provide those jobs that are so necessary for our ability to sustain that growth.
I do have to follow up on one thing you just said, which is you said we slayed the deficit. How exactly did you slay the deficit if you balanced precisely one budget and now you're going back into deficit for the next 7 years?
So for the last number of years, as the 6 budgets I have the privilege of delivering, we have actually outperformed and overachieved on those deficit targets. So we've actually are borrowing $30 billion less than we had anticipated. And as a result, we are in a better position, a strengthened financial position in our economy to go forward. But we could choose not to invest in infrastructure, roads and bridges and hospitals and schools and public transit. Those things matter to be competitive. And we're making a choice to invest in those things so that we can continue to grow the economy and continue to provide for jobs. 800,000 net new jobs have come to the province since the recession, and we're projecting 140,000 jobs every year because of the work that we are doing. We have the lowest unemployment in 2 decades, and our economy outperforms and outpaces Canada. Those are important measures. We want to sustain that.
I understand that, but I hasten to add that when you and I spoke at this time a year ago, you did say your plan was not only to have a balanced budget this fiscal year, but the next one and the next one and the next one. Why do you think the public will not punish you for going back on your word?
Well, we did balance the budget, and we're making a choice. If the out years are now less strong than we had anticipated, we could choose to make cuts, or we can choose to continue to support those services. And we're choosing to do that because the people of Ontario also want to have the benefits of our prosperity in our province. But our debt to GDP is strong. It's one of the strongest in the world. Our economy is one of the largest economies in the world as well. So we have the room to make these investments. And in the past 40 years, there's only been 8 balanced budgets, 3 of them by the Conservatives. And we've done the rest. And I've done it one as well. If we want to make those cuts and not make these investments to the things that matter to people, like $17,000 more for child care, enabling moms and parents to get back to work sooner, you can do that, but you're going to harm the economy, and you're not going to put us in a competitive advantage for the future. We're investing for the future.
I do note with interest, though, that the province of Quebec brought down its budget yesterday. They have just about the worst debt per capita ratios in the whole country. Only Newfoundland and Labrador is worse. And yet they balanced their budget. And their treasurer said, if you can't balance the budget at the top of the business cycle, when will you balance it? That feels like a fairly reasonable question to ask, isn't it?
It is, and I wish I had the same benefits that Quebec has. They get $11 billion more from Canada. Ontario is a net contributor to the Federation, even when we qualify for equalization. We're the largest contributor to the rest of Canada. We provide almost $11 billion more out than we get in. So we don't have that benefit, but we do require and we do recognize the need to partner with other provinces for the benefit of Canada. We are the engine of the country. We continue to provide more jobs than anywhere else combined. We recognize how important it is to come to balance, but we must also be mindful about managing the finances responsibly to invest in things that matter. We are coming back to balance. We are taking the steps necessary, and our deficit is less than 1% of GDP. But more importantly, the people of Ontario are going to benefit from the measures that we've made.
Well, you do raise some red flags in this budget about what could put the numbers in this budget out of whack. For example, you've got America's increasing protectionism. You've got a fellow who, while a very stable genius in the Oval Office, may not be the most reliable partner, let's put it that way. You've got lower corporate tax rates in the United States right now. You've got uncertainty around NAFTA. You've got, as you've told us, relatively unbuoyant economic growth forecast for the next 3 years in the province of Ontario. How worried are you that what you presented today could be out of whack in very short order?
Well, I've taken those concerns and I have tapered down our projections going in the out years. That's why we have taken the average of economic economists' projections and we've lowered them to ensure that we provide for more supports should shocks occur. We've also built in much more prudence into our plan going forward. We have reserves and contingencies to ensure that we meet and exceed our targets as we proceed, just as I've done already. As I said, we're borrowing $30 billion less because we've overachieved in our previous targets. We anticipate doing the same going forward.
Well, you're borrowing $30 billion less from your previous achievements. But on the other hand, you're going to add $32 billion more to the province's debt should you be in power over the next 7 years. That's what the budget papers say. You're comfortable adding another $32 billion to our already $300 billion plus of provincial debt?
And I've put in a lot of prudence into that projection, right? But more importantly, we're growing our economy. We're growing our economy substantively. And our debt to GDP remains the same and it will be tapering down. And our interest on debt as a function of our revenue continues to overexceed. We're at 8 cents on a dollar, whereas before in year 2000, it was 15.5 cents per dollar. So we are taking the necessary step to lock them in over long periods of time to provide greater savings. At the same time, and more importantly, we're providing more savings for the people of the province, putting more money in their pocket too.
Minister, I know you're proud of the new Dentacare program that's in this budget, but we do also have to note that there are relatively few details in the budget about the Dentacare program. Do you have any idea how much it's going to cost, when it's going to be implemented, and when people can look forward to actually enjoying that program if it happens?
Yeah, so we have now young people under the age of 25 with free pharmacare and seniors over 65 with free pharmacare. Those in between are going to take advantage of this drug and dental plan that we're providing. It'll estimate around $650 million a year. Basically, a single will get about $400 benefit. A couple would get about $600 in benefits, and a family of four would get about $700 in benefits. It's a start, right? This doesn't exist, and it's a gap in the system, and we want to be able to have a national discussion on universal pharmacare for the entire country as well as dental. So we're stepping it up. We're taking these measures so that we can help more people, and it's building upon some of the dental programs we already have for young people. We want to make sure that those that do not have benefits will be able to also benefit.
Let me, in our last couple of minutes here, ask you a bit of a philosophical question, admittedly. What would you say to people who are simply uncomfortable with the size and the scope of what you as a government are now doing?
Well, people, I hope they appreciate that the size and scope of our economy is substantial. Ontario's economy is over $800 billion. And we recognize that in order for it to grow and to be sustained, we need to make those investments. We need to diversify our economy into new sectors. Some will have you turn their backs and not do the green economy, for example. We have billions now coming into the province of Ontario through our cap and trade arrangements that we've done in the Western Climate Initiative. That enables us to invest in sectors of the economy that didn't exist, and now we're leading North America in those endeavors. And those diversifications beyond our natural resources is important because we want to be able to weather the shocks of those commodity prices. And Ontario is leading. We are the top in foreign direct investment, attracting more business investments and creating more jobs than all of Canada combined.
Okay, let's finish up on this then. This is presumably the Liberal Party's election platform. We're about 2.5 months away. Budgets are obviously financial documents, but they are never more political than when they are the last budget going into an election campaign, which this one is. Do you think this budget can get done what needs to get done to get your party back in the game?
Well, every budget I've presented and everything I've done has always been long-term in scope. They're beyond election cycles. What's important for me in the production of this budget is to provide for the services that people need and people require. At the same time, stimulating economic growth and supporting businesses who create those jobs. The majority of the 800,000 net new jobs that came to Ontario are private sector and pay above average wages. So going forward, what we're presenting is something that means more supports for the people and for the business of this province. It's about care and opportunity, and that's what matters to me.
And with that, Charles Sousa, Minister of Finance, we thank you for coming on TVO as you do every budget night for the last 6 that you've done. So thanks very much for that.
Thanks, Steve.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.